Hey doing everyone, welcome back. I don't know if you saw this video that's going around online, but the director of ICE, the director of ICE has decided that he's not asking, he is demanding that people stop, uh, well, goofy dog, I'll let her, she's fine, she's old and cantankerous. But anyway, the director of ICE has decided that he is not asking, he is demanding that people stop criticizing his organization. Because we're making it difficult for his organization to do their job. Really? Apparently we're making it dangerous. We're providing aid and comfort. Now, specifically, he called out certain members of Congress. Right? Specifically, he called them by name. I don't remember all the names, but I do remember Hakeem Jeffries being one of them. Well, stop doing things that need to be called out, and maybe people won't call you out. How about, instead of wearing masks and refusing to give your names and show warrants, how about if you do everything legally? Try doing that first. If you can do things legally, then maybe we can be nice to you. So, by the way, nope, right there, that's Molly. She says hi. And, what got me on that video, though, is when he said about, the criticisms of his organization and their tactics. He said, obviously he said that he's making us all safer. I don't see how. I don't see how. But he said that by criticizing them, we're putting their agents at risk. How? Explain that. What, being critical of your tactics is putting your agents at risk? Protesting is putting your agents at risk? She must be barking at the neighbor's dog over there. I don't know. I don't know what there might be a squirrel out there too. Who knows? But anyway, if criticism is putting your agents at risk, well, maybe your agents should stop doing things that warrant the criticism they're receiving. Maybe you, as the director, should step up and say, hey, stop doing these things that deserve criticism. Maybe you should stand up to the President of the United States and say, no, sir, that's not legal. That violates the Constitution. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do what you're asking. No, we're not going to impose an artificial quota, where we have to get rid of X number a day. Because if you have to get rid of so many a day, well, that just means that you're just going to round up anyone and everyone, regardless of legal status, or even if they're citizens, and throw them out just because you can. Does that sound like the United States that we have all known and loved? Doesn't to me. That's not the America that I was taught is the greatest country in the world. In fact, right now, are we the greatest country in the world? Nope. We can be. We can be. But right now, we're not. And, I mean, it's more than just that. I mean, there's a number of factors. I mean, you know, you want to make America great again by, what, getting rid of, you know, those people. You know, because back before we had those people, we were a great country, right? Never mind, those people have always been here. Whoever those people may be, they've always been here. So, you know, the exception, of course, being the those who came over from Asia, you know. But, you know, we had to get rid of those, didn't we, you know? Chinese Exclusion Act, you know, stop letting them come in. If you've seen my videos before, that's a root beer. It's not, in fact, see, I will show you root beer. Sprecher, Menards. So, Sprecher is out of Wisconsin. Sprecher is a company out of, and Menards is where I happen to buy the, if you're not familiar with Menards, that's it's like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, except in my opinion, better. And neither Sprecher nor Menards are sponsoring me. I just happen to like both of them. But where was I? Yeah. So criticism makes ICE ineffective. Is that what you're saying? Well, if effectiveness is what they're doing now, let's continue to criticize. You know, because he says that, you know, that his agents are real people with real lives and real families. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. But by saying that, are you saying that those that are being rounded up without due process are not real people with real lives and real families? Is that what you're saying? That's what I inferred from it. That's what I took away from it. So, I don't know. Stop criticizing us so that we can do our jobs. You know what? This comes from people who like to call everyone else snowflakes. Tell you what, snowflake. Stop melting down over the First Amendment, you know, and people using their First Amendment rights. And you know what? Do your job in accordance with the Constitution. If you can do your job in accordance with the Constitution, then I'm fine with it. If you can't, then if that agency, if ICE, cannot do their jobs without violating the Constitution, that agency needs to be abolished. It's that simple. It's that simple. But, you know, especially with the implication that people you're rounding up are not real people with, you know, real lives and real families, like your agents, you know. Try a little humanity. Try maybe not being an evil prick. and maybe stand up for what's right instead of just doing what you're told. And my counterpoint to your demand that people stop criticizing your organization, my counterpoint, no. No. We're going to continue the necessary criticism. If you start doing things the right way, and go through due process, and people who need to be deported are deported, that's fine. But if you're just rounding people up, just kind of willy-nilly, all help whoever you want to grab, wherever you want to grab them with, Constitution be damned, we're going to criticize that. We're going to call that out. We're going to protest that. And a damn thing you can do about it. Catch you next time.